Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first DigiEduHack coaching call. My name is Madeline Kivikangas on behalf of the DigiEduHack team, and you will be seeing me over the next 12 weeks, every Wednesday, same day, same time, in these coaching calls, except for one of the weeks where we will be doing some extra ones, and we will be hosting 3 coaching calls on the 8th week of this 12-week period. I'm so happy that all of you have joined me here, and this will be recorded. It's now streamed, of course, and after recorded and saved in this YouTube playlist. So you will be able to come back to this, or if there's someone who missed the original recording, you will be able to come back to this as often as you wish. Also, a disclaimer already, all of the links that we are mentioning here will be found in the description and description box down below, and also the slide deck itself that I will be going through in just a minute or so. What we will go through today is, there we go. Of course, what are these coaching calls all in all? What is the DigiEduHack itself? How can you become a host? Why should you become a host? And so on. But the purpose of all of these coaching calls is to prepare you as much as possible to host your own local hackathons over the hackathon days in November. I was a host in the last 3-year DigiEduHack project, and I have also been organizing several hackathons in my own organization. So some might call me somewhat of an expert, as well as all of my colleagues in my team. So any questions you might have over these coming months, we can help you out, and we will help you out. Let's get started. So first, about the initiative, what are we doing? Who are we if you're not familiar with us yet? And what is this particular project? And what are the milestones that you would need to be aware of if you haven't yet, but you wish to join as a host in this hackathon series of hackathons? So first of all, before we go into DigiEduHack, what is a hackathon in itself? Might not be obvious for all of us. Originally, the word hackathon comes from a combination of 2 different words, hacking and marathon, hackathon. But what is DigiEduHack, which is, of course, maybe more important to know in this setting? DigiEduHack is a flagship initiative of the European Commission that aims to foster grassroots innovation, collaboration, and creativity, and to drive positive change in digital education. This is why we're aiming to have 24 hours local hackathons throughout not only Europe, but the whole world, taking place worldwide at the same time over a period of 8 days, where the target is to boost both innovation and digital education to improve these areas and create a good education environment for the future. This is open to anyone, regardless of technical skills. Some might think that a hackathon is only for coders and that hackathon hosts can only be organization with very, very good coding skills and the industry of tech. But we are looking for ideas, concepts, also, of course, technical solutions as a result of these hackathons, but it is not restricted to any technical skill level. The theme of this hackathon this year is putting people at the center of digital education. And actually, we're not going to go into that much further. We're not going to restrict on how you need to approach this topic. But when you are getting inspired and brainstorming of how to form your own challenge and your own local hackathon, always come back to this theme to make sure that it is relevant. The initiative here has strong synergies with the European Digital Education Hub, and it was first implemented under the Digital Education Plan 2018 to 2020. And now we are continuing from the education plan of 2021 all the way to 2027. So looking forward a few years. I don't know if I mentioned it already. If you don't know it yet, we did host a series of 3 hackathons under the DigiEduHack project previously, where I was, as said, one of the hosts with our organization. And throughout these 3 years, we gained close to 7,000 participants, which is amazing worldwide. 642 solutions were created, and we had over 200 host organizations. Together, these host organizations hosted 142 local events. And how the math goes here is that several host organizations can go together to host local events. So if you feel uncertain that your own capability is maybe not strong enough to handle a whole hackathon organization yourself, you can team up with other local or non-local organizers to go together and together with your partners and stakeholders host a local event. So you do not need to do that alone if you want to join up with some other companies in your own network. So the key project milestones of this particular event, and with this particular event, we mean the 2023 version, not the whole 3-year series of DigiEduHack hackathons, but this year only. We have already launched in April, so big thanks to those who have already been on board since April. If you haven't been to our website yet, you can find it on www.digieduhack.com, which is where you find all the information about participating as a host, about the challenges itself, about participating as a participant, and you can also find your own challenge there and create your own challenge page and so on. But we will get to all of this as we go forward. All the way until April, it's been possible to register to the hackathon as a host, and it's recommended that you do it as early as possible, which is why it says recommended already then. In June, you could start crafting your own challenge, crafting your web page. By no means do you have to have that done yet. Again, you can do all of these things as early as possible. We will also have separate coaching calls. As said, we will have a series of 14 coaching calls over the time of 12 weeks. And actually next week's coaching call, next Wednesday, same time, will be focusing on how to craft your challenge. So when you have decided to become a host, you've registered to a host or in the host position on the platform, then you can craft your own challenge. So what do you want your teams to work on that you then attract to your challenge? The third coaching call will be focusing on how to create your own web page. As said, under the DigiEduHack web page, all of your local challenges will be found and you will get your own challenge web page. If you're having trouble with this, we will go through that as well. And I'm already saying this, and I'll say it as we go forward as well. You can always reach out to us over email at contact@digieduhack.com, and we will help you out either on just text format, or you can always book one-to-one calls with us, and we can have video chats with someone from our team to help you out if there's something specific you're looking for or you need help with. So with any of these topics and questions, if you don't want to wait, we can always meet up with you. If you have a simple question that you right now want answers to, write it in the chat here and it will be answered either in the chat under the YouTube video here by my colleague, or then I'll take it up verbally and go through it here as well. So you can craft your challenge, create your own web page to attract participants, and then you can start planning. You can recruit your participants, your mentors, your jury members, and sponsors as soon as you have your web page ready. Again, There will, of course, be different coaching calls on how to recruit your participants, meaning who could join your challenge, who would be a good target audience for that. What are you looking for from your participants? Is it students? Is it startups? So on, so on. We also have a coaching call for mentors and jury. Who are the mentors? Who are the judges? Why do we need them? What's the talent that you want to identify in these mentors and jury members? Where do you find them from? Is it your own organization? Is it someone else within your networks, someone relevant for the industry that you are focusing on, so on? How do you invite these? How do you onboard them? And how do they participate in your hackathon? And also we will have a coaching call on possible sponsors. Again, we will go through who are the sponsors that you could look for. Is it universities nearby, other industry-related stakeholders and organizations that you know well or that are interested in your topic? Also, you can find it both on the website and later in our sponsor recruitment coaching call. You can find some links and decks on how to best practices, basically, on how to approach, how to get sponsors, how to secure them, and also who could that be. After this, we go into August, which is when the coaching calls start. And again, same month, you can start doing these early planning things if you haven't done so yet that we've mentioned so far. In September, we recommend and suggest that you host a challenge webinar. What a challenge webinar means is it's a pre-hackathon webinar where you can get to know, or your participants or interested audience can get to know you as a company, your challenge in your own hackathon. So the challenge that you have crafted, what is it about? Why is it interesting? What kind of solutions could your teams come up with? You can have your partners, if you have any, introduce themselves and inspire the teams on why they are involved, what kind of solutions they want to see, and so on. You can also help your teams or individuals find teams, merge together, brainstorm together, however you want to structure this. But it's a very good push, and it inspires and motivates your interested audience very often to actually send in and register to your hackathon. The host registration also closes at this point on the 29th of September. However, as said before, we recommend not to wait to the last deadline, because as you can see, the ones who have registered already April, May have had a lot of time to already prepare and make sure that they are as ready as possible for the hackathon in November. So if you know that you are interested, reach out to us if you have any questions, but we do recommend that you already register as a host immediately after this call, for example, if you haven't yet. In October, the participant registration closes, which is another reason for you to create your webpage as early as possible so that it leaves more time for you to recruit your participants and your teams to actually join your hackathon. We will also go through here how you will onboard your teams, how you will onboard your mentors and your jury members in one of the coaching calls, and this will be done in October. This is to make sure that everyone knows where to be and when, even if is it a physical format that you've chosen, is it online, however you choose to do that, everyone needs to know what to do, what is expected from them, what can they expect out of this hackathon. And finally, in November, it is showtime. So between the days of 6th and 13th of November, all of you will be hosting your DigiEduHacks. And as said, it's a 24-hour thing. You can decide yourself if you do it 24 hours straight on one of these days. Do you want to divide it 12 hours, break 12 hours on the next day? Do you want to do 3 days, 8 hours, however you want to do it, just to make sure that your hackathon will be 24 hours in total within this time period. And on the final day, we will have a main stage event, which is a joint closing of the event and closing ceremony that you and all of your participants can tune in on and watch. During December, we will send all the winners from each local hackathon to a solutions evaluation, and January will be dedicated for public voting. And finally, in February, we will know our winners and have an awarding ceremony. And the 2023 DigiEduHack closes. So, what host materials do we have for you in addition to these coaching calls to help you out? First of all, we're going to go through a blueprint roadmap that you can use. Secondly, we will go through a very extensive host guide, including everything that you might need during these coming months. And then some other support resources that are available for you. And again, here I'll say it, if anything doesn't make sense, write it in the chat and we can help you out, or contact us over email to book a call. I will quickly switch to what I'm sharing. There we go. If you go to the digieduhack.com participate and host. So up here, you can decide how you want to participate, and then you choose the host version. You can see all kinds of resources available for you, and some general information about the initiative itself. Here we have resources, and on the second row here, we have a blueprint roadmap. And it is as easy as this. You download it from here and it is available for you at all times. And I'll go through it just a sec, make it a bit bigger for you. There we go. So, host blueprint, what is it and how do you need it? It's the basics of your hackathon. There we go. Making it a bit smaller for you. Yes, good. So here you can have, first of all, some more details on the annual theme. As said, it's the future of education in the digital age, and more detailed, the people at the center of digital education. I'm not going to go through it more than that, but this is good to come back to every time you want to make sure that your challenge is relevant. What are the challenge categories? When drafting your challenge, you can rely on a few different challenge categories so that because we are hosting a lot of hackathons at the same time, so to make them as diverse as possible, you can choose to specify your challenge into different categories. The first being access and availability. And as you can see here, we can read a bit more about it, and I'll not go through it word by word. But by providing equal access to digital infrastructure and equipment, we ensure that everyone has the opportunity to succeed in the future of education. So how do you make it accessible for everyone and a larger audience? The second theme here is learning spaces and pedagogies. To meet the growing need for more innovative learning design and delivery, educators must create interactive and engaging experiences that leverage a variety of digital tools. So how can we make working together and collaborating in education more fun, more innovative, just more advanced and improved in all ways? And here we can decide if we want to aim it at kindergarten or more lower secondary school education. Do we want to take this into adult education? So you can decide on the level that you're aiming for and kind of go from the complexity there and see what kind of tools would be relevant for what kind of education. You can also choose to craft your challenge to attract the learning experience. So what kind of digital tools and digital solutions could be used to make the individual learning experience better, the collaborative learning experience better, and so on. The next category, individual competences. So how can we use digital tools, digital technologies to foster confidence for everyone and foster everyone's individual competences and make sure that as many as possible would have the tools and technologies needed to collaborate and so on. So you can go here and do with this category as for everyone else, give it your own touch. Organizational capability. Is your organization promoting digital first thinking and making the best of the opportunities offered by technologies or not? How could it be improved even more? And of course, as well-being in any form of environment, any education, we need to make sure that everyone is being taken care of in the digital education environment as well. So the next category is well-being in digital education. How can we promote it? What's your take on that? Let us know when you are crafting your challenge. There we go. Last three challenge categories. Emerging technologies for education. What kind of emerging technologies could you use and more integrate in the learning environment? For educators or education all in one. However, again, you want to tackle this, it is up to you. Going forward to data-driven education, our second topic. How can we better collect, analyze, exploit data in education? What's your take on that? If your challenge doesn't fit any of these categories, doesn't matter at all. You can also choose the category other, and please contact us here to present your challenge and what you would like to tackle, how you would like to approach this DigiEduHack theme, and we will find you a category as well. So that's no problem. All right. You can find again the key project milestones in this roadmap that we recommend that you follow. And then we go through the different milestones again a bit more in detail. I'm not going to do it all too much, but a little. So if you haven't done so yet, but now listening to this, you are interested or you were already interested before to actually register as a host and host one of our local hackathons. It is easy. Just go to our website again, digitaleduhack.com. And first you have to create, or we recommend that you create a user and then activate this account. And then you log in with this user to actually register your challenge. How do you craft your challenge? So you can go back to the categories that we just mentioned and then add or choose which one you would like to use or be part of with your own challenge. Select your category and your specific topic. And you have different examples that you can look at while crafting this. Yes. And you will fill in a form with all of the details of your challenge. And you can go back to this as well later, but just a first draft, submit it to us. And you have to submit it so that we can see it, of course, because it will not be added to the website automatically, but someone from the DigiEduHack needs to approve it and then publish your challenge, after which you will know that it's on the website and live. Starting today, we have weekly coaching calls and you have more information about those here as well, and also some other supports to help you out. You might have seen me in the first learning opportunity video or not, but we do host learning opportunities that are basically informative sessions to help out both participants and hosts and other interested parties about the DigiEduHack project, and also different topics every time, and it's very interesting for you to listen to. You have all of these available, so you can watch them even if you would have missed them. You have all of the downloadable resources. I'll show you them a bit further as well as we go back to the website. And also, after you have registered as a host, you will be added to our Discord channel, where you can ask for live support and ask us questions if you don't want to have a one-to-one call with us. And reach out on the email. You also have more info about the main stage event. That will be the closing of the whole hackathon event. Also, you will find a bit more on the evaluation and the voting itself and the awarding, and we will go through these a bit more detailed in the evaluation and next steps coaching call. So you will get more info from me about this as well. That is the roadmap. So just to keep you updated on the basics of the hackathon and the hackathon process. And now I'm jumping between my slides, but that's no problem. As said, blueprint, all that we just went through, so I won't go through it again. The host guide then. Another extensive resource for you, just to make your life easier when you are approaching this project as a host. I will quickly select the host guide that is also available on the DigiEdu website, and I'll show it to you as we go back there. This is kind of extensive just because we don't want you to be confused about anything. So I won't go through it in detail, but I'll click through and make sure that you know what is included in all of these different categories and steps. There we go. So just a bit of a user guide. How do you actually tackle this guide once you have it? And a small welcome that I won't go through. So as you can see, you have 9 different categories in your host guide that you can jump through, and you have supportive links, all of it, and everything that is in the host guide will also be gone through with you verbally in our coaching calls. So you will get this information several ways. So whatever works for you is how you can approach this. So first in the guide, you will find some information on how to actually bring your crew together, who is going to be on your hackathon organizer team, how do you, again, craft your challenge, what is the recommended timeline, what's the checklist on each of these timeline parts and steps that you need to make sure that you can check off your list, and guidelines on example intellectual property. A bit more on who is needed on your team, what kind of expertise are we looking for here, and so on. A lot of reading, but all very, very useful. As you can see, you have a lot of links here that you can click to get to different challenge examples, get to Discord, get to other tools that are mentioned here, get to the roadmap, for example. So everything that is linked here should be available to you to click forward as well. Building the foundations, your timeline and your schedule, how many months is needed for what, how many people are needed for what, and so on, just so that you know how to collect your team. Here we have different from the core team, as mentioned, the mentors, if you want to have volunteers, if you have any volunteers in your network that could help you out. Do you want to film this event? Do you need a videographer? Is it a physical event? Do you need catering? All of these extra set of hands. Yes. And then how do you recruit your participants? Again, there will be a separate coaching call about this, but let's go through so you know what to expect. First, you need to create your webpage for your event in order to have something to try to get participants to. And you have the step-to-step guide here once more. Target the right participants. And again, you'll hear this 1,000 times from us, but make sure that you know who you are trying to attract. Look in your existing networks, try to find the best social media channels that work for your organization and for your network, and you will get a lot of more examples on different platforms that you can use, how to get your engagement improved and so on. Yes. Overview of the actual event day. Since you can decide if you want to do physical event, blended event, meaning you have both online and on-site, or if you want to do an online event fully, we have different event day planning tips for you here. So make sure that you look at the right format. How do you plan your event? These are examples of one where you have 2 days. So you have divided it in 12 hours and 12 hours just to get some sleep in between. And also a bit more in detail, what are these different sessions that you can see, different dots? What do they actually mean? And how do we recommend that you fill these different programs? Perfect. I'm not going to go through them anymore, but just so you know, all the way until the event has closed. We do the same thing for online events, as well as an info slide on what is different in an online event. And then it's exactly the same structure as the offline event. Blended event, not gonna tell you a third time. You know what it's about. And then we go through a bit of event day logistics, just to make sure that you know, what do you need? Do you have the venue? Do you have food? Do you know how you will handle everything on site, all the people on site, so on. And again, all of the different formats are taken into consideration. How do you want to do your communications and promotions during this event? It is, after all, both a hackathon, but both a visibility chance for you to boost your own organization and, of course, boost the different amazing solutions that you no doubt will get. So a different kinds of tips on how to go live and be visible during these days. And a bit of tools on video and audio, and for the challenge webinar that we quickly mentioned, for the onboardings of the mentors and the participants, for the different video purposes that you have, different audio purposes and text purposes that you have. All of this is included in this guide, and I'm not going to go through it more than that. And in the end, of course, our email and website where you can find all of these informations. Jumping through my slides again, and I hope I'm not overwhelming you. So a bit of a recap. All of this is included in your host guide. Other support resources. Jumping right back up. On the website, as said, you can see, there we go, all of these different links and decks and templates and whatever you might need. So, for example, the sponsorship packages that we mentioned on how to recruit sponsors, you can find it here. The blueprint and the host guide that we just went through, you can find it here. Challenge examples to get some inspiration on your own challenge and how you could craft your own. Marketing kit, of course, there will be a coaching call for almost all of these different topics as well, and some frequently asked questions. If you're wondering anything regarding to the event or the project itself, make sure to take a look here. Your question might already be answered, and if not, feel free to reach out. Perfect. I quickly mentioned the learning opportunities, these webinars/informative sessions. As said, if you haven't watched them yet, you can, for example, scan some of them here and go back to our, there's a YouTube playlist under our YouTube channel as well, where all of these are collected. We have interesting different speakers each time, and we tackle different parts of the DigiEduHack hackathon area. These can be watched live or later, and you can go through the comments and discussions that it has awoken as well. You can also listen to our DigiEduHack, the podcast, if that's how you want to get some useful insights. And you get, again, a few tips, some inspiration, some motivation for you, and how your own hackathon could look like. You can find it on Spotify or SoundCloud as well, and you have the links to them here as well. So, some of the resources that are at your proposal and can be used by you at any time. If you have any difficulties with these, reach out to us, of course, so that we can help you out. So, thirdly, what do we expect or hope from you? We will ask for the different local hosts to provide us with a project plan of your own local hackathons, not because we want to spy on what you are doing, but to make sure that we can guide you through everything, and we make sure that we have instructed you well enough so that you know how to set up your own hackathons. Since we have a lot of hackathons to look over on our end, we ask all the hosts to provide us with this so that we can go through and make sure that you're aligned and we can support you the best way, and we know exactly what you are looking for from your event, and we know to guide you through it in the correct way. I will go through what the project plan is and also what we ask you to provide through this project plan. So the project plan is basically a template to help you prepare and plan your hackathon, and again, help us help you, basically. You can scan the QR code here to get the template, but you can also download it on the website as said. Before I show you the plan, no, I'll show you the plan first. When you download the plan, now I will stop share and open a new window, so bear with me for that. When you go to the website and go to resources and download your project plan, this is what you will end up with. DigiEduHack host project plan. I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can see what it's all about. It's a few pages, so not super long, but still enough to give us an insight on your project. So you will fill this in, we'll get to it really easily, just fill in the gaps. You will tell us a bit about you, your work plan, what's the plan for recruiting the participants, what's the plan for all of these different categories to recruit participants. So will you have a challenge webinar? More info about that. Will you do social media recruitment? Will you do any direct outreach, meaning email contacting, for example, to different contact lists that you might have, or newsletters or anything like this? Will you do any physical promotions at universities or other, and more info? on other topics. Key information about your actual, after the participant and the recruitment stage, actual hackers who registered to your event, how many teams and submissions did you get, how many did you confirm, how many did confirm that they will participate, and so on, and date of your onboarding sessions where you onboard participants, mentors, and judges. What's the agenda for your hackathon 1, 2, 3 days? And what's your self-assessment, just so that we know where we can support you? Yes. So about you, easy. You choose your name, organization, country, gender, and quickly your topic in a nutshell. Have you hosted hackathons? Yes or no? And then what's the plan? Here we ask you to provide a plan weekly. So week by week, what will happen until your hackathon is taking place. Your participant recruitment plan, as discussed. Here you can fill in these different bullet points, so different A, B, C, and D, just with your information. So you fill in the date of your webinar. Just as a tip already, we usually advise to maybe reserve 90 minutes for a webinar-ish, depending on how many speakers you want to have, but 90 minutes about would be my recommendation. It doesn't always take that long. You can get it wrapped up in an hour, but just so that you have time to do the introduction and make sure that everyone has joined and you have time for your interesting speakers. You give enough time to actually present your challenge and expected outcomes and anything that you want to address, potential solutions, and how do you find a team, and so on. And you have time to go through the practicalities. How do these interested people actually register to your hackathon? Can you be alone? Do you need a team? How big should the team be? When is the deadline? When do they know if they've been accepted or not? And so on and so on. And then, of course, it's good to reserve some time for a Q&A after. We also want to know your speakers. So who will speak at the webinar and about what. And as said here, please provide us this agenda that I now roughly went through. Doesn't need to be exactly like this, but an agenda so that we can make sure that it's airy enough and everything is being covered. What platform will you use for streaming, and so on. Social media. What post channels are you using? You can do both, as you can see here, organic and paid campaigns. So what kind of organic post channels will you use, and what kind of channels will you use for your paid campaign? Are they the same? Are they different? Of course, you know your network best. You can also choose to do paid campaigns only on some of your platforms where you know that it's been giving you some results. Up to you, but just let us know. And the direct outreach. Do you have contacts in your network? Are you sending out newsletters? And if you are doing this together with other stakeholders and other partners, are you getting them to get engaged and provide you with some contacts, or are they posting on their channels and so on? So please let us know if it's only your organization doing the promotion and these activities, or are you several organizations working together? Are you doing physical promotions? Again, flyer, screens. Are you setting up a stand at a university and being there in person? Please let us know. And is there something else that you're doing that we haven't thought of? Partners and sponsors. As I've said, might be good to have some bodies on board. Please let us know who these are that you've identified and confirmed. What is the role for your partner and your sponsors, and the role for yourself, and so on. There we go. And some key information. What was the goal for what is your goal for registered hackers? How many teams do you want? And when will you onboard these? And again, reserve enough time, depending, of course, on what you want to cover, and will help you with what you should cover in these different onboarding sessions in a separate call, but make sure that you have enough time for this is my tip for now. Meet the mentor session, just as a side note again, not mandatory, but it's a good, it's a nice session where the mentors and the teams can meet for the first time, even before the hackathon. This is a session where the teams can present their ideas and their projects that they are planning on working on during the hackathon in a few minutes only, and they can get some first feedback and input from the mentors, just spontaneously, whatever comes to mind in that moment, so that they can already work a bit before the actual hackathon. If this is something that you want to do, you can, but if you want to have a hackathon where the work starts on the day of the hackathon, also fine, however you choose to do this. What's the agenda for your day/days of your own hackathon? And please give us the hourly agenda as well. And lastly, the self-assessment. Nothing crazy, but what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And what do you need help with? Or is there anything else that you want to raise? Yes, and we will go through all of these and reach out to you to make sure that you are taken care of throughout this project. I am jumping back into my original screen. There we go. So when do you need to submit all of these? Again, as early as possible would be nice. Not only because we're already not that late in the process, but still the hackathon dates are approaching quickly, and then we have time to go through all of these as quickly as possible and determine how we can help you best. The deadline for submitting your project plan is October 6th, but my final recommendation and request would be to submit it at the latest 2 weeks before this. So then we have time when the deadline comes. We've gone through all of your project plans and distributed our resources and our team. So 2 weeks before October 6th would be very, very nice. After you submit your plan, you can take part of all of these resources, all of the support. Everything will be at your hands once you have submitted this plan to us. And as said, we've just gone through it, but this is what you might want to fill in and what we ask for you. All right, how do you get in touch with us? We have some different communication channels to make it easy for you and so that you can contact us however you feel most comfortable. The first, as I might have quickly mentioned, we have a Discord DigiEduHack channel that you will be able to join after you've registered as a host. Because we go through a bit more, the communication there is pretty more on spot on more detailed questions that you might have. So once you've registered as a host, you can come there and ask us questions, and we will be helping out not only before the event days, but also throughout the 6th through 13th of November. Email, as I've said many times, reach out to us at any time, and roughly a business day for us to go through and make sure to react, but you will get an answer quickly. If you need a call, you don't need to have any difficult questions to suggest a call. So don't fear. We're happy to give you a call time for anything that you might need. So contact us through one of these previously mentioned tools and schedule a call with us, and we can chat a bit more. All right. What comes next in this coaching call series? I kind of mentioned as we went through the timelines earlier, what's going to happen next and what will be covered in these coaching calls, but just to make sure that we have it clear. Today, we're doing the introduction to the DigiEduHack program itself, and also how do you get started. As said, the next week, again, Wednesday and same time, how to craft your challenge. If you've crafted it already, you can tune in to get some tips on how to maybe improve your challenge. So how to design this. The week after, we will go through how you set up your web page and your Discord server for your own challenge. And then we go through how you gather funding. It's not free to organize a hackathon, so you might want to have some sponsors and some funding for your event. We go through, as I said, the sponsorship best practices, also a template on a deck that you can use and send out to potential sponsors, how to approach them and what are the best ways to actually get funding. On the 13th of September, we go through how to recruit participants. This is both a how to identify what kind of participants you will need and a marketing kind of coaching call. So what channels work best for promotion to what kind of participants and so on. What are the tools that you can use and how can you promote and attract participants? On the 20th of September, we will focus on these challenge webinars, so post-hack webinars that we are recommending that you host in October. So well in advance, we will have a coaching call just about this. On the 27th of September, we will have a recruiting mentors and jury coaching calls. And here again, we will go through the importance of having mentors and having jury members. Why are they needed for a hackathon? Who is suitable to be a mentor and a jury member? How do you invite them and approach them the best way? How do you confirm their participation? And how do you keep them updated all the way from the first invitation through the whole onboarding phase and during the hackathon itself? And in this, we also, of course, go through the different formats. In all of these, if there's a difference in a physical hackathon or online or blended hackathon, you will get information about all of these. On the first week of October, we do 3 coaching calls. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, same time every day, but 3 days. Where you can actually finally decide on your format. So do you want to do an online hackathon? Do you want to do an on-site hackathon? Or do you want to do a blended hackathon? We go through the perks of these and the differences and how do you need to prepare for these different formats and so on. Yeah, after this, it's up to you. We do these, as said, in 3 days. So 1 day is focusing solely on one format. So if you already know that you will be doing, for example, an online hackathon, it's enough if you jump in on the online call so that you know what is relevant for your hackathon. If you haven't decided, you can tune in on all of these, of course. 11th of October will be focusing on onboarding participants, mentors, and jury. Yeah, I'm not going to go more into detail at this point. On the 18th of October, we're going to go through a bit matchmaking and supporting teams. I don't think I've mentioned it even once during this call, but in some occasions, again, just a bit of a teaser. If you have requirements for your participant profiles, for example, or you need to have certain profiles within each team, you might need to help your teams out a bit and your participants out a bit to find the right team and to actually have complete and eligible teams. We call it matchmaking, and in this call, we go through a few tools that you can use to provide matchmaking for your team so that it's easiest for you and so that you can make sure to have as many complete teams as you are going for in your hackathon. Also, how do you support your teams throughout this whole event and this whole project? We will give you some tips and tricks on how to make everyone feel included and up to date. On the 25th of October, we will be focusing on judging and evaluation. So how do the judges in your hackathon evaluate the solutions from your hackathon? How do you decide on a evaluation criteria, and how do you evaluate? Finally, when you have received a solution and a final result, how do you submit your winner solution to the central hub, and so on? What happens after your hackathon is closed? And on the 1st of November, only 2 days before the hackathon sprint starts, we're focusing on what you want to know. So your final questions answered, and some best practices and so on. All materials and videos and recordings and links and everything that we will go through in these coaching calls will be shared with you after each session. You can find them on the website, the host grid that I showed you, the host platform website. And you can also find them in Discord that we've discussed. But an easy way to do this is also to go back to this video on YouTube. You have the link here to the playlist, and you are in the playlist right now. And all of the links that are mentioned in that coaching call are also added in the description there. So you have several ways to find these. If for some reason you're still having difficulties finding the links or anything else from the resources that have been mentioned, reach out to us and we will make sure to get those to you. If at this point we have any questions, I see that you've been getting some answers already in the chat, which makes me happy. I hope that it's been helpful. You can keep writing your questions in the chat here in YouTube as well. If you're watching it later, you can read through the discussions. And if any questions arise now that you're watching this offline, please reach out to contact@digieduhack.com to schedule a call with us, ask us anything, chit chat. We want to be involved in your doings as much as possible. If you still have some doubts on do you actually want to be a host or why, schedule a call with us for that as well, even if you don't have specific questions, and we can help you settle any uncertainties and so on. I see that we are on the top of the hour and I will not hold you any longer. I want to say a big thanks for tuning in. I'm so excited to get started on these coaching call series, and I'm so excited to help you provide the best hackathon possible for your teams. And let's find some amazing solutions to boost the future of education. We will stay online to answer some more questions. But as for my floating face, I thank you again, and I see you next Wednesday.